Hi boys and girls, and welcome back to another great read aloud. This week we are talking once again about the reading skill of compare and contrast. I picked a great story, Frog and Toad All Year. Now the great thing, if you've ever read Frog and Toad or if you're familiar with this book in particular has 5 different stories about Frog and Toad. Okay, Frog and Toad are like the best of buds, so I thought this would be a great opportunity for us to compare and contrast the 2 best friends. So remember, compare means I'm going to talk about how are they similar, how are they alike, and contrast means just the opposite. How are they different? Okay, so what you are going to do today after you read the story with me and listen, you are going to compare and contrast Frog and Toad throughout the story. Now physically we could already see some differences between Frog and Toad just visually. You can focus on that as well as the way they act in the story, maybe their language, maybe their attitude, okay? There are a lot of unspoken similarities and differences throughout the story. You just have to look at the visuals for maybe facial expressions, attitude, as well as the context of the story. So you are going to compare Frog and Toad, and this story we are going to read today is called Down the Hill. Okay, I know that winter is hopefully just about over for us as we see the sunshine outside and the warmer weather's approaching, but this is a nice winter story about Frog and Toad, and it's called Down the Hill. Okay, so as I'm reading, try and point out or write down some similarities and differences you see between Frog and Toad. Okay, so here he is. Frog knocked on Toad's door. "Toad, wake up," he cried. "Come out and see how wonderful the winter is." "I will not," said Toad. "I am in my warm bed." Are you guys seeing similarities and differences already? "Winter is beautiful," said Frog. "Come out and have fun." "Blah," said Toad. "I do not have any winter clothes." And as you can see, Frog is prepared and he's got a nice handful of winter clothes for his buddy. So already just on these first 2 pages, I saw a lot of differences how I can contrast the 2 characters. Frog came into the house. "I have brought you some things to wear," he said. Frog pushed a coat down over the top of Toad. Frog pulled snow pants over the bottom of Toad. So he's kind of just getting him dressed like, "Come on, buddy, I'll help you out. Let's get outside." He put on a hat and scarf on Toad's head. "Help!" cried Toad. "My best friend is trying to kill me." "I'm only getting you ready for winter," said Frog. And as you can see, look at Frog, I'm sorry. He's so happy and he's not listening to his buddy Toad. He's just getting it ready. He's like, "Hey, I'm just trying to get you prepared for winter weather outside." All right, take a look at this picture. You can see already differences between Frog and Toad. I wonder if Toad's attitude is going to change at all. Frog and Toad went outside. They tramped through the snow. "We will ride down this big hill on my sled," said Frog. "Not me," said Toad. "Do not be afraid," said Frog. "I will be with you on this sled." "It will be fine. It will be a fine, fast ride. Toad, you sit in front and I will sit right behind you." The sled began to move down the hill. "Here we go," said Frog. So you can see Frog is so into this activity. He's so excited. He's so energetic. He's so positive. And Toad is quite the opposite. He's all, "Blah, I don't like this. I can't do that." There was a bump. Frog fell off the sled. As you can see, we're right back there. And it doesn't even look like Toad noticed. But look at Toad's face now. He's changed a little bit. Toad rushed past trees and rocks. "Frog, I am glad that you are here," said Toad. See, he has no idea that Frog fell off. Look at him. He's so happy now. Toad leaped over a snowbank. "I cannot steer the sled without you, Frog," he said. "You are right. Winter is fun." Okay, so his attitude changed now to match that of Frog's. A crow flew nearby. "Hello, Crow," shouted Toad. "Look at Frog and me. We can ride a sled better than anybody in the world." "But Toad," said the Crow, "you are all alone on that sled." Toad looked around. He saw that Frog was not there. "I am all alone!" screamed Toad. Uh-oh. I bet you he could have gone the whole ride thinking that Frog was there until Mr. Crow came and said, "Buddy, there's nobody with you." Oh no. Bang! The sled hit a tree. Thud! The sled hit a rock. Plop! The sled dived into the snow, and look at, off he fell. Frog came running down the hill. He pulled Toad out of the snow. "I saw everything," said Frog. "You did very well by yourself." "I did not," said Toad. "But there's one thing I can do all by myself." "What's that?" asked Frog. "I can go home," said Toad. "Winter may be beautiful, but my bed is much better." And that's the end of Frog and Toad down the hill. All right, so that was a sweet and short little story. But as I've already stated throughout the story, a lot of differences between Frog and Toad. But throughout the story, his attitude did change just a little bit, Toads, for you to find some similarities, okay? I'm not going to say them again. That's for you to find out. But if you were watching this video and paying attention to the story and what I was saying, I already gave you a ton of answers. So your job right now is to compare and contrast, find some similarities and some differences between Frog and Toad. I want you to also use some textual evidence, some things that maybe Frog or Toad said in this story, and try not to focus so much on what they look like. You know, a good comparison or a contrast is not one's a frog and one's a toad. Yes, that's obvious because that's their name, but there are so many differences throughout the story that you can choose other than one's a frog and one's a toad. That's very basic level thinking, so try and explore and expand a little bit deeper from what you saw in this story. All right, guys, I'm excited for you to take this reading skill, compare and contrast, and to compare and contrast our two buddies, Frog and Toad. Good luck, guys.